Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you some recipes from Chrissy Teigen's cookbook. So we're going to be having breakfast with Chrissy Teigen, and I've made 2 recipes out of each, so 4 total that I'm going to share with you. And then also this video is part of an open collab hosted by Southern Wife Everyday Life, so I'll have her channel linked below as well as the playlist. Make sure you go check out her channel and the playlist with all the delicious cookbook recipes. I'm so excited to see them all because I love my cookbooks, so I collect them. But if you enjoy content like this, food content, I do all kinds of food content, what's for dinners, all kinds of good stuff. I would love it if you would join my YouTube family and hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so that you won't miss out on any delicious recipes. But let's get into these recipes. So first up, we have Dutch Baby Pancake. And guys, I realize I forgot to introduce myself in the intro, so I'm sorry about that. If you're new, welcome. My name is Amanda. So we're going to get started adding these ingredients to my Ninja. I've got some flour and butter, and then I'm going to add some eggs and milk, which it calls for whole milk. And so I would probably stick with that. Just, I don't know, since I've never made it, I don't know if you could make some subs. You might could use half and half also or something like that too. And then you're going to put a little bit of salt in there. And that's pretty much it. Like, it's really simple ingredients, super easy. This is very cheap and affordable for sure. You're just going to blend that for about 20 to 30 seconds. I did it in 10-second increments just to make sure, kind of give it, I want to say when I first got my Ninja, it said to kind of do it in increments, but I can't remember. So I just do it just in case. And then it's all nice and smooth. Now, part of the melted butter that she calls for, we actually put in the skillet. We let it get foamy and then pour that liquid mixture in. And this goes straight into a 475-degree oven. And that's going to actually bake for about 17 to 18 minutes. Until it gets all poofed up. And that was so fun. Like, this is a fun thing for kids and everything, because to watch that go from liquid to this was really neat. That was just a very interesting thing. Now, she recommends you serve it with dusted with powdered sugar, and then also with some softened butter and syrup. Oh my word, y'all, this was amazing. My son has already requested it for his birthday next month. In fact, all 3 of my kids have birthday next month, so that's going to be a fun month. And but we'll be definitely making that regularly. So next up, we have Pepper's Garlicky Bacon Scramble. So we're going to start first with finely dicing a shallot up. And I actually had never had a shallot before, unless it's been in something I didn't realize it was in. But I really enjoyed it in this recipe. My son, who doesn't like onions, did not complain about this in the recipe. He really liked these eggs. So they must be milder than regular onions, I would say. But I will say it was bothering my husband's eyes. He was filming this while I was cutting, and he was like, he's like, is this hurting your eyes? And I was like, no, but it was him. So he always dreads it when I'm cutting onions and he's filming me. But so I'm getting that all finely chopped up. It called for, I think it was 1 small shallot, and then I've got cilantro leaves that I'm dicing up as well, a couple of tablespoons. I had actually never had cilantro and eggs, and it really tasted good. It packed a lot of flavor in there. Now, I've also got some garlic that I'm going to be adding, because it is, of course, garlicky bacon, so you can see that back there. And then I've got some bacon I'm just kind of cutting into little, dicing into pieces. I saw someone somewhere say that it's much easier to cut it with scissors than it is to like dice it with a knife. So that's what I thought I'd do. And that worked out really well. I did get rid of a couple of little, like a chunk that had a little more fat on it than I would like. And kind of laid that to the side. And then I got it all ready to go in the pan. I've also heard to always start bacon in a cold pan. So that's what I did here too. I don't like to pan fry bacon a lot because it always ends up popping me. And so I tend to bake it in the oven, or buy the like microwavable kind. We really like that too. So I've got some eggs in this bowl, and I added some half and half to it. I believe it called for whole milk, but I was out, so I thought I would go ahead and use up some half and half. And I'm just sauteing that bacon in that skillet, getting that ready. Once it gets kind of, crispy, go ahead and add that shallot in, and then we're going to add the garlic as well. You're just going to saute that for a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, that way that you can get not the onions, but the shallots softened and the garlic kind of cooked a little. And then we're just going to pour our egg mixture in here and then just start kind of moving it around slowly, getting it all cooked. And we're going to also add our cilantro. And the recipe called for salt and pepper. I did not, I chose not to add salt just because of the fact that I've said before, I try to watch my sodium. And since the bacon was already in there, I felt like that would be enough salt. And it tasted great without any additional salt. So obviously, you're welcome to add as much salt as you would like to add to it. We, thought it tasted really well like it was, so we were happy with that. You're just going to cook it until the eggs get fully cooked, and then we're pretty much ready to plate this up. Now, in her book, she showed it plated with toast and avocado slices, so that's the way I plated mine. Guys, this was so good. We will definitely make this again. Really easy, inexpensive, great, delicious breakfast. And it really didn't take that long either. So very easy recipe. So next up we have French toast with a whipped honey ricotta topping. First we're going to get started making the whipped honey ricotta topping. So I've got some honey in the bowl. I'm adding some ricotta cheese. It also calls for vanilla, cinnamon, and some heavy cream, 6 tablespoons of that. So that goes into the bowl, and then we're just going to blend that all together. Now, while I'm doing that, I will talk to you a little bit about this topping. I was unsure about this. It looks good in the picture and everything, but I am not a huge fan of ricotta, the texture and everything. And so I was like, I'm not sure if I like this. But since it called for it to have this topping, I did want to make it. I was not a fan of the topping. So we loved the French toast, and we'll definitely make that again. But I probably won't ever make the whipped topping again just because that I don't like ricotta. So if you're not a fan of ricotta, you probably won't like the topping, but the French toast is really good. So I highly recommend that. And if you like ricotta, you probably would love this. So it's just a personal preference kind of thing. So I've just got that finished. I'm going to place that in the refrigerator while I get to work on the French toast. So I've got some eggs in this bowl or this dish, and then I'm going to add in some whole milk and actually heavy cream, or half and half. You can use either one. So that mixture goes in there, and then some vanilla as well to that, and then I'm just going to mix this up. Now I will say probably next time I probably will go ahead, and nutmeg goes in it too. I'll probably go ahead and add some cinnamon to the this mixture as well, because we really like cinnamon. And I'll do that next time. But this was really good, just like it was too. We actually, some of us added cinnamon onto our French toast pieces after it was done even. So I got some of this Nature's Own brioche style bread to use. I wanted something nice and thick to make good French toast pieces. And we're just going to dip that in there. You're actually going to hold it in there for about 10 seconds per side. And if you like it even more eggy, kind of more, moist, then you will want to go ahead and do that even a little longer and let it soak in more. And so I just did that for each piece, and this pretty much was enough to almost get that whole loaf of bread done. I just went ahead and did however many, would take up all of the mixture. This would be great for meal prep, like if you wanted to prep this for breakfasts in the morning, because you could just pop these slices in the toaster and toast them back up. I'm sure they would even freeze well, but I'm going to do that for us so that I can have it on hand for the kids to pop in the toaster in the mornings and that type of thing. So, and you could definitely use whatever bread is your choice. The big thing is you do want it to be hearty enough to kind of take on that egg without falling apart. That's the one thing with like just regular, bread. It can tend to try to fall apart a little bit with French toast if you don't, if you're not careful about it. So I usually dip it quickly when it's like that. But these thicker slices, I could hold them in there longer and get more of the mixture on them. So that was really good. So I'm just kind of rubbing some butter in this pan. She recommends using butter to cook this in. And then just basically grilling them on each side until they get nice and golden brown. That was about 5 minutes on each side. I went ahead and have 2 skillets going to help me get it done faster. I did just buy a griddle, so I'm really excited to use that when I make these French toast. The batch I've just bought, because I think that will go so much faster. I don't know why I've never gotten a griddle before. Well, I did have one a long time ago and then got rid of it. So I'm excited to try that out and see how that goes too. But as you can see, these are nice and golden brown. This stuff was really good. And you could, top it however you like. You could even make a fruit topping to go with it if you want to, instead of that whipped cream, the ricotta cream topping. So lots of different, French toast is very versatile. You could cut them into little sticks if you want to, if your kids like dipping them in syrup or something like that. So lots of good ways to serve this. And we really, really loved this French toast, and we'll definitely be making it again. Now, actually, this was what my son had requested for his birthday, for his breakfast, until I actually had made that Dutch baby pancake. And that Dutch baby pancake does kind of remind you a little bit of French toast, but it's different. It's kind of hard to explain unless you've tried it, but it was really good. So I'm just actually making a honey syrup that she has to go along with this in the book. I've got some butter going in there and some honey, and then it'll also be some vanilla as well as just a pinch of salt. And this was really good. I thought this syrup was amazing with this French toast. So definitely recommend trying that out. And honey is a little better for you, I guess, than like, high fructose corn syrup type syrups and things like that. But I like those too sometimes. So you just bring this to a boil, kind of let it thicken just a little bit, and then that'll be ready to go. And we're just going to top our French toast with some of that whipped topping, and then with some of the honey syrup. This was just really good, guys. Like I said, I didn't care too much, for the topping, but the French toast and the syrup were amazing. And if you like ricotta, you would love that topping, so that's just, like I said, personal preference. But I've been so impressed with all these recipes so far. So I'm glad to be sharing them with y'all. So next up, we have John's breakfast sandwiches, which is her husband's recipe. I've got ground pork in that bowl, and I'm adding to that some garlic and some very finely chopped onion up. And then I've got several seasonings that's going to go in there. And I think I also mixed the oil with the garlic, so you didn't see them both go in there. But I've got that. And I've got some sage, red pepper, salt, pepper. All that goes in there, as well as some brown sugar. And then we're just going to mix that really well. Of course, don't over mix it. You can make it a little too tough and that type of thing. But just get everything good and incorporated in there. And then we're going to make 4 sausage patties. Now, I actually used a leaner pork. I didn't really like all the fat that was in the regular ground pork. So I had them, I picked a leaner version. I think it was like ground pork sirloin or something like that. I can't remember. But we're just going to get these patties though ready to be fried, and I'm going to use a cast iron skillet, which is always handy to use for things like that. So I've got some English muffins going in under the broiler in the oven. And guys, let me tell you, if you haven't already tried that, it is so easy to do it in the broiler, and you can do a large amount too. So such a time saver. So I've got these patties going in here. I'm going to just cook them probably about 5 minutes on each side, I think is what I did. Just make sure that you get them good and done. And there's our English muffins, all nice and toasty. And I will say I was not a fan of the sausage myself. I think that probably the fact of me using the leaner sausage, which gave it a little different flavor, and it was a little spicy for me, and I cut back on the red pepper flakes. But all that's so customizable that you could easily change those things. And I love English muffin sandwiches like this. I usually make mine with ham. And I don't know that I've ever made one with sausage before, but they're really good, no matter what. So I would probably just make these again and just use regular sausage patties instead of making them homemade. But I love English muffin sandwiches. They're always really delicious. This is another thing that is so handy to meal prep for breakfast too, so I highly recommend that. Now, guys, don't forget to check out Southern Wife Everyday Lives channel and that playlist link below for some more delicious cookbook recipes. So I just want to take a moment and thank y'all for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. I wanted to go over these cookbooks just a little bit and just kind of give you my review. I'm sure just through the video you've seen how much we enjoyed these recipes. But as you can see, I have tabbed a ton of recipes to try in these books. I am so impressed with these cookbooks. I really wasn't familiar with Chrissy Teigen before. I had seen some people make some stuff out of her cookbooks, and I'd heard a lot about them, so I thought I'd go ahead and pick them up. I did not regret that decision. We will be making several more recipes out of her cookbooks, and I'll make sure to film those and share those with you too. But if you're looking for a good cookbook, I definitely would recommend one of these. Probably like the first one a little better than the second one. As you can see, I have way more tabbed in there, but I also haven't really got to go through this one quite as good, so I want to go through it again and tab any extras that we might decide to make. But I'm looking forward to making so many recipes. She has a clam chowder, I think it is, that looks so good in there, so I'm very excited to get to try that as well.
But I definitely can, can put my recommendation behind these books. I tend to collect a lot of cookbooks, and I'm bad about letting them sit on the bookshelf and not cook with them. This collab has helped with that, so I'm very grateful to be participating in it and to help me kind of get more use out of my cookbook. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a blessed day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one.